Welcome back to FIA Formula 2. It is time for qualifying to decide who is going to be taking the 2 points from pole position. Zane Maloney looks quick in practice. He's hoping to continue that here today in qualifying. Isaac Hadjar, the complete opposite. He has looked a little more poor compared to the practice sessions that we've seen so far throughout the season. So he's a bit on the back foot. He's on the back foot going into this one. He's going to try and come back though in the remaining. He's going to come back in this session, and then of course the remaining sessions of the weekend, the sprint and the feature. We set the grid for both races in this 30-minute qualifying session, while Formula 3's failure qualifying format was of course used for Formula 3 qualifying. We are using our usual 30 minutes to set the grid, but due to all of the gravel and everything that Formula 3 caused, we have got quite a little bit of a delay. We were meant to get underway now. We're going to be starting a bit 2 minutes later, as everyone of course had to make their way through to the pit lane, so just giving everyone enough time to set things up. But Oliver Behrman getting all set and ready. His teammate of course was the one this time in FP1. We've usually seen Oliver Behrman get the FP1 chance with Haas, but it was his teammate, and Oliver Behrman struggled a bit to adapt from F2 to F1, then back to F2. So let's see how Antonelli faces it, and he doesn't only just face it normally, he faces it with a crash in FP1 in what was probably his most crucial session of the season, when he's being watched from everyone in the Formula 1 paddock. So lots of pressure put on Kimi Antonelli coming into it. Fortunately, he did find the barrier, but he's hoping to bounce back. He's back in the car. Let's see whether he can redeem himself, at least in the Formula 2 paddock, and take his first pole position in the championship in FIA Formula 2. We're about to get qualifying session underway, and hopefully we'll have cars heading out onto the circuit. The green flags are now out. The 30 minutes is underway of qualifying. So who is going to come out on top? We of course have Ollie Goethe and Niels Kuhlen as well, who is joining us for this weekend at least. And well, of course we have Niels Kuhlen confirmed for next week, and then Goethe Baku, I should say, which is in 2 weeks time. And then after that we also do have the confirmation of Ollie Goethe for the seat down at MP Motorsport alongside Dennis Hauger. Onto the circuit comes Roman Stanek. He is not wasting any time at all, and the trident driver in what probably could be his last race his last round. He's got 2 races coming up tomorrow. It's last qualifying though right now. He is rumoured to be leaving that seat, so he will be hoping to bounce back and end Formula 2 on a high. He's been across Formula 2. Hello Megan, welcome back. But yeah, Stanek's been across Formula 3, across Formula 2, and in what could be his last race, he's out there because of course, Megan, me and you were commentating that session. Roman Stanek had issues. He pulled to a stop, and he's going to try to bounce back, so he's getting all the running he can do. Let's hear from Hadjar.
The clock, and yeah, last year was a fine example of how to mess up qualifying. It was really funny, but yeah, this year we'll try to be smarter and yeah, try to put it on pole. It's been a while now, and I really feel like I have the potential to do it, and yeah.
Last year was stupid by Formula 2, which I am surprised that they kind of only gave it to Formula 3 and not Formula 2 with what happened last year, the format. But thank God they didn't, because that was a total disaster of a format. Maybe 60 minutes would have worked better. Probably it would have. This was an absolute disaster. Monaco, it's to help avoid. Of course, the goals it serves are different. Monaco, no one's after a silver. Monaco, you're as far apart. They're trying to create room for the drivers to be apart from each other on the circuit. Everyone wants to be apart from each other. Here around the circuit, everyone wants to be as close as possible to each other. So the format doesn't really work. Because of course it has a different purpose for use around this circuit. It's to reduce the amount of cars, but to be fair, they're being as much as crazy as they would, even if it's 30 cars. But Stanek, the first one out, they're getting some extra runs in as well. He needs every single lap he can get after missing the entirety of practice. He went out on the circuit, was able to complete a couple of corners, and then found himself coming to a halt.
That is funny. Not been
Yeah.
very good this weekend so far then. This track is
Yes,
causing a
not-
lot of problems.
Indeed. So 27 minutes to go on the clock. Zach O'Sullivan, our brilliant winner from Monaco, our winner of the amazing sprint race that we had at Spa. I say amazing. It was only a couple of laps. It was only a couple of laps. That 3-4 laps that we had of racing, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I wish we got that full race because honestly, I think that could have been the race of the season. And anyone doubting Antonelli or Oliver Behrman, I think that would have shut them up, that race, had that finish. The pace that both of them had. Behrman gained 6 places on lap 1. Antonelli made a move at a Rouge in the wet, just wild. It was, and they both had incredible pace. They were getting onto the back of everyone very quickly. So it would have been great. It would have been great to see that race concluded, but they couldn't, as the helicopter didn't have much visibility up in the sky and around the circuit, especially like Spa, where it could be needed any moment. You definitely need the helicopter to be able to fly without any issues. That goes for any circuit as well. So Stanek, the only car out there on the circuit. Andrea Kimi Antonelli currently parked in the pit lane, awaiting to go on the circuit as the Prema team gets himself ready, and he is going to try and redeem himself after the FP1 crash. Let's see whether he can try and go to the front of the field, and his team boss tells us all about it now.
Two circuits where not always the fastest can do pole position because there is always a bit of luck. But apart that, we need to concentrate, get a clear lap, get the right space in front of us. A bit of toe will be better, but we try to do the job in the best way as possible.
Good to hear from René Rodin, giving us a lot of interviews all the way through. He's a man who we hear from quite a bit, whether it be Formula 3, whether it be Formula 2. We saw him, Megan, earlier
I've
on in
seen
Formula
him
3 as well,
so
didn't we?
much today.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Roman Stanek, finally with a working car, or we hope a working car. We can't trust Trident, nearly losing the car, nearly going into the gravel, tipping a tyre into the gravel.
Semi-working car.
Well, let's see how he does. DRS open, let's hope he doesn't get mecha chrome now.
25 minutes left off the session, and purple sector times for Sonic. Gotta say.
Well, I think Megan, even Niels Kulin could manage that when he's the only car who's actually
Yeah.
going through. Oh wait, hold on, talking about Niels Kulin, he's gone on the circuit now. Fantastic, so we're going to be able to see what he's going to be able to do. I think that's going to be interesting.
We're gonna
Roman
have to get
Stanek
to him.
making his way through. He has not crashed like we saw from Kimi Antonelli and Birch Mylander earlier on in the weekend. Roman Stanek across the line. The lap to beat for all of the other drivers is a 1 minute 34.992.
And here's a replay of Roman Stanek doing... Oh, locking up. Seeing a lot of lockups down that corner.
Yep, we saw that for Niels Kulin as well in practice earlier on.
Ooh, that messed up
Which,
his front tyres.
Yeah, that would have definitely ruined those front tyres for Stanek, who is hoping to have a good final qualifying in Formula 2. Not official, of course, but that's what the rumour is, and that's what Stanek is really frustrated. And this weekend, this practice session where he had a car issue, will definitely not help it. Hauger going through the pit lane, so this is clearly an attempt to allow a few cars by so he can get the slipstream. But that's the tactic that we saw in Formula 3, continuing in Formula 2. And remember, in Formula 2, we've got 30 minutes and we've got 22 cars. So more cars out there on the circuit, so this could be even more crazy. Bigger cars as well.
Right. So... Right now, for number 12, heading down the track. He's the one who stalled in the pit lane last session, right?
Yes. The man in his first Formula 2 qualifying. Let's see how he's going to get on. He could have a very weird first Formula 2 qualifying. If they all do start doing what they did in Formula 3 and causing all sorts of issues with parking it up a little bit, slowing us as much as they can. Now, I think this first run, they might behave themselves a bit more. They might all set a lap, just in case, and then they will start playing around. But there's going to be that one person, I think, in this field who does not want to play around because they remember last year. Now, what happened last year is for people who didn't watch or don't remember. We had contact at the final corner. We had cars doing what they did in Formula 3. There was a driver who wasn't getting a slipstream, but was able to still find an improvement to reverse grid pole, just cause of the track improvement. So that can be very crucial for the drivers as well, as we make our way then down the straight with Gabriel Bortoleto, the Brazilian driver, the man who clinched the Formula 3 championship in the pit lane as well last year. That was in Formula 3 qualifying. So he has good memories of this place. The races were pretty chaotic, but that was for every single driver. As we now come over the line, Oliver Goethe about to begin a lap as he makes his way down towards the Rettifilio chicane.
Oh, a little bit of a wobble there from him. Off the track.
Wobble. And off the track he goes. Ollie Goethe. Well, that will be an abandoned lap first of all for the German driver, hoping to be like Sebastian Vettel one day as well.
If he wants to be like him, then he better just go through the boards.
Yes, if you wanna, if you wanna be like Sebastian Vettel, you gotta go straight to the boards. Just fully straight line it. Here we go. Down towards the first turn again. He's gonna get onto the grass with the rear tire, and he has to cut the chicane. But yes, the better idea would be just going straight on.
I suppose it's lucky he went off there.
Yep.
Oh.
You messed up turn 1.
We see that.
You messed up in two ways. First of all, touching the grass on the way in, and then also not doing the Sebastian Vettel way.
Exactly.
So two things messed up for him. As we make our way through then, Isaac Hadjar, championship leader, side by side. And well, I don't know if he already wants to get some racing in. Brilliant skill from him earlier this season in Monaco though. Whether people hate him or not, you do have to say there was brilliant reaction times from Isaac Hadjar in Monaco through the tunnel with his moment with Ritomo Miata. Down to Rettifilio. Is he about to get blocked and impeded? The answer to that is yes. The trying out of the way. That's a bit too late.
What a hero.
That's a typical Isaac Hadjar radio. You'd usually hear him a bit louder though. This is the first time you're watching Formula 2. You'd hear him even louder. So that is just a normal radio from him. He'd usually be a bit more mad. Yellow flags are out. So what has happened on the circuit? We can see a little bit of gravel.
Who is it?
The yellow flags are flying. Who has gone off the road then? Paul Aaron is the driver who is going nicely in the second sector. Still down on Stanek though. He set the personal best in the second sector. Yellow flags are out. In the first sector, make that green now, so everything seems okay. Antonelli pushing on, and he's 7/10 right now. Faster than Roman Stanek as we get more slipstreaming down towards the end of the lap, and it seems like they're backing off now. So here we go, they're backing off once again. Antonelli's going to be hoping they all get out of the way. They do all get out of the way for Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and he'll surely be allowed to push and get on with a lap time then. Let's see what Andrea Antonelli can do.
We still don't know who went off. We still don't know who went off.
Yeah, we still don't. Absolutely. Kulin was third momentarily. We have to mention that. The GOAT in third. Maloney making his way through to the parabolic. A red flag is out. Red flag is out. No yellow flags, but the red flag is called. And what is this for? Is that gravel on the exit of Lismo 2? That's the only thing we saw. So is that why they're calling the red flag? So Antonelli, Fittipaldi, O'Sullivan, Miata, Stanek, the top 5, and the clock will be stopped as we have a red flag with 19 minutes on the clock to go. And someone has gone off.
I think someone has gone the Vettel way.
Someone has gone the Vettel way. Indeed. So, well, interesting to see. Who was it? Who was it? Was it Ollie Goethe? Did he finally decide to listen to us? Is the question.
Possibly.
Red flags waved. A lot of gravel there. So means that they do need to clear that up. Hopefully we will get a replay and hopefully we'll be able to understand why. But we did talk about it in Formula 3, didn't we, and Josh, about, well, they had so much gravel, but then they need to try and make sure that the gravel doesn't come back on the circuit like it's doing now. Because we've had 2 red flags due to gravel now. The Stanek and Hadjar's noted, so it was Stanek who was the car blocking at the opening part of the lap. But yeah, we've got gravel between Lismo 1 and Lismo 2. We've got gravel on the exit of Lismo 2 as well. And we've got Kimi Antonelli with the fastest time right now. So he wouldn't mind if the slipstream games begin and no one's able to get a time in the remainder of the session. I've seen it in Formula 2 in the past.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be opposed to no more session right now. But
Coolin would
still
be
have
6th.
19. Oh, I don't think he'd oppose either.
well, he's guaranteed 26 unless someone has an issue. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do. He's a rookie in this one, but he's a talented driver. He's a talented driver, unlike Niels Coolin, who, well, I was trying to stay composed during his practice lap, but I wasn't able to one bit. Kept laughing when we saw the sector 2 times, laughing all the way up until he crossed the line. Oh yes, I don't think I've ever struggled to not laugh when trying to stay composed during commentary. The other time I remember when Roy Nissany crashed into the wall at Imola from the race lead, trying to win his first race in Formula 2. Also some gravel at the exit of Ascari. So yeah, the discussion I had with Joshua Birch earlier on, I think once again they've added a lot of gravel, but if gravel keeps coming on the circuit, it's causing a big issue, and it will continue to cause an issue throughout the rest of this weekend.
I wonder if that's why the red flag's out.
It is, yes, it is. Why we have the red flag, because we have so much gravel. And who's been putting the gravel on the circuit?
Not quite
Oh,
sure.
that's Victor Martins. That is Victor Martins, who is number 1. So we found him. He can be going to court then for that. We'll get some evidence. Well, I'm sure someone in their field wouldn't mind getting some evidence on that one. And here is Bortoletto. Look up over the chicane.
He must have been the yellow.
Yeah. Oh, out there again. Has he finally done it? Oh. Oh, all you guys are spinning. So that's what happened. Lucky to keep the engine going for the German driver. But he's had another moment at this, so he's not feeling confident around this part of the lap then.
No, I don't think this... I don't think this track is for him. It's not agreeing with him.
Very good at Budapest though. And he's a driver who does perform very well indeed. Kimi Antonelli, the quickest of all. As we take a look at the state of his tyres right now for the Italian driver in his home race. And while it wasn't the FP1 he wanted, he'll want any sort of confidence boost that he can get as well. And he's not letting right now the FP1 crash get to him, even though we haven't seen proper laps. We've seen Fittipaldi, O'Sullivan, Stanek, Hauger, and Coolin, who will set a lap. Well, Coolin shouldn't even be. Coolin cannot affect anyone, so we won't even count him as well. So, I think he will affect the races. I think he'll give us a couple of safety cars, which, to be fair, I wouldn't mind if we get safety car. Unless we get a safety car on the last lap, and the race finishes down the safety car. Wouldn't mind a few, because Formula 2 is meant to be a bit of chaos. So, you know, wouldn't mind a couple of safety cars. We don't have Nissany on the grid anymore. He was the one who used to give us all the safety cars.
How long is this red flag gonna take?
Well, hopefully the gravel will be cleared very quickly. Zach O'Sullivan, the British driver, we were just watching. Now we look to the fans that are not going and enjoying themselves somewhere else right now, but they choose to be watching FIA Formula 2. They choose to be watching a future star, Oliver Behrman or Kimi Antonelli, whichever way you look at it. Oliver Behrman to Ferrari, possibly in the future if a seat is open. Antonelli, just as an Italian. Oli Goethe, though, trying to be Sebastian Vettel. Oh, we've got a time, and it's resuming in 1 minute, Megan, so don't worry. You don't have too long to wait till they're back out on the circuit, and we'll see whether this time we get the slipstream games or we just get laps at the limit. But right now, before they head onto the circuit, the 6 drivers, a reminder who were able to get a lap on the board are Kimi Antonelli, Enzo Fittipaldi, Zach O'Sullivan, Roman Stanek, Dennis Hauger, and Niels Coolin, who were the drivers. Victor Martins was one of the drivers who caused the red flag by bringing some gravel onto the circuit. He'll be hoping to regroup, go again, and he's a driver who said coming into this weekend he wants to contend at the front of the field. Well, if he is going in the gravel, then that is not going to be the best for him in this qualifying session. As
Look
the
at
green
the time.
flags are back up, and we should be getting back underway.
Look at the time. Timer.
16.
It's gone to 16 instead of 19.
So they've reduced that. We've got Formula 1 in 40 minutes. So I don't think they trust them to get this all done. But now we're at risk. We have seen this previously, but they just cut the time even more.
Hmm.
But if we get another red flag, they just don't resume the session at all. So
Well, we've got a
They're at risk.
schedule to appear.
they're at risk of that. So basically, I think we're going to be calling the rest of these laps like that could be it, because it absolutely could be it. That is the issue. If Formula 3 is delayed, it delays Formula 2, and if Formula 2 gets delayed, then that means then Formula 2 is also losing time. But at least they're just cutting time right now, rather than doing anything later on. Some magic. I remember mid-session at Silverstone last year, it was ridiculous, where they mid-session just fully reduced the time.
Just like, you know
That's a
what,
good
this isn't going to help.
Silverstone, though, due to the schedule, they run very close to FP2, which is the issue. So every year we have this issue at Silverstone. They run super close to FP2, literally minutes. So we get that issue every year when we go to Silverstone. Every other round is okay, in terms of that, luckily. Felipe Drogovic, the man who clinched the Formula 2 championship around this circuit, watching on now, and he will be hoping that he can get in an F1 seat very soon, and he will be cheering on. He'll be cheering on some of these drivers in this field. Isaac Hadjar, how is he going to be able to do? Our championship leader, of course, in the Campos car. And what we saw and what we've seen, as I mentioned in practice, what we've seen from Isaac Hadjar this season is what we expected last season. Qualifying last year was just stupid for Formula 2 around this circuit. Contact at the final corner, more slipstream games and all sorts going on. The year before that, it wasn't good for Isaac Hadjar either, because he crashed at the Parabolica, which we've already seen Antonelli do, we've seen Bert Malander do, so we've already seen two drivers crash this weekend at the Parabolica, and Isaac Hadjar did that in 2022 when he was in the F3 title fight, so he cannot afford for anything similar to happen this time around when he's fighting for the F2 title. This time he's got a 36 points gap buffer, but if he makes a mistake, then that screws up both races for this weekend. To the first sector, he is down on Kimi Antonelli.
Right. My mind just feels so cluttered right now.
Poor Megan, having to do an extra session. Isaac Hadjar, making his way through towards the Ascari chicane. Trying not to give you too much, so you can still rest a little bit as well. Are you on FP2 in a bit?
I don't think I will be. I need
Just
to
escape.
do enough.
Right, timings are looking very interesting right now. Isaac Hadjar making his way through. Yellow flags are flying once again. Yellow flags are flying. Who has lost it this time around? This could be critical as we come out of the final corner. Isaac Hadjar, our championship leader, looking to go to the front of the field. What can Hadjar do? Across the line, he goes up to P4. Dennis Hauger will be next across the line. Can he get on terms with Kimi Antonelli? Over the line he goes. He displaces Isaac Hadjar. Fittipaldi also to come across the line, and he is in second. Coolin improves his time. Aaron about to come over the line as well. Bortoletta, red flag is out once again. Red flag is out. And who has gone into the wall this time? Some more drama in this Formula 2 session, and it's Bortoletto. Gabriel Bortoletto, the man second in the championship, has gone off the road, and that is such a disappointment, and that's a weekend ruiner for him, and possibly could be costly in the title race as well.
He's completely beached it. And the clock's still going down. They have not stopped.
Stop it this time around. They might not stop it this time around. I think this time they're just letting it go. Just letting it run. Usually the rule is that they'll stop it in Formula 2 qualifying and Formula 3 qualifying. Any qualifying, they'd usually stop it. That's the rule. They went off the road here. Instead of recovering it back onto the road, it's a further moment on the grass. And it sends the car round. And the man second in the championship may have just ruined his title hopes as he spins to the gravel and is beached. Disappointment for the Brazilian driver, who will play no further part in Formula 2 qualifying right now. Let's hear from him now.
I completely got a bump in the middle of the track.
Oh. So there's a bump in the middle of the track. It's not a drain cover, is it?
Oh my god. Right, time continues to tick, so yes. It seems like hopefully they hurry up so we can actually get some laps on. Session will conclude at 35. Okay, so they're letting it run. letting it run because they have no other choice because Formula 1's starting. That's the only issue with Formula 2 qualifying at times where there just isn't time to fully finish it. So sometimes it does mean that I do kind of wish we had the slot of the after FP2 slot for Formula 2. That worked pretty well. You of course have the Porsche Super Cup, but they could all manage to fit it in. That would be perfect. Because them losing out, as talking about losing out, O'Sullivan's had a lap time deleted. O'Sullivan has had a lap time deleted. So basically, how this session works is, Megan, the clock continues to run all the way, and we will see. But basically, how this will work is, whatever red flags, whatever time we waste, the clock continues ticking, and the session ends at 35, no matter what.
So either way, they've got to finish.
I honestly beg that no one now bins it into the wall and causes a red flag. Well, Antonelli probably will be like, yeah, continue pinning it. But yeah, we've got Bortoletto, Marti, Cordial, Goethe, all still yet to set a proper lap time. Bortoletto won't be able to do it, of course, due to causing the red flag. Martins, O'Sullivan, who's had his lap time deleted. Dirksen, Miata, Villagomez, Crawford, Correa, Maney, Bortoletto, Maloney, all still yet to. And for Maloney, a driver who was quick in practice, very quick in practice, is now finding himself still waiting to set a time on the board. So it seems like we're getting another weird and bizarre Formula 2 qualifying session. But now we're getting the session concluding at a certain point, no matter what happens here. And could we really end it with some of the drivers not even setting a lap time? So it would really be frustration for some drivers. And what do they do next from here for next year's qualifying here at Monza? What's next for them? Because it is really going to be really hard. Because the two-part quali didn't work for Formula 3. The 30 minutes isn't working for Formula 2. So what else are we meant to do?
Float.
Lovely. They do really need to come up with something though. Laps at the limit around Monza seem like it's causing quite a bit of chaos. Now they'll get one run where they'll do a lot of preparation, and we're basically going into Formula 3 territory now. So it's one run for them all to push. So they all behave themselves, and that will be good. The session will resume at 28, which is in 1 minute's time, Megan.
They keep changing.
And then we'll have cars going back onto the circuit. Hopefully they will keep it clean this time, so then we can actually get some laps being set and a battle of pole position.
I love that. Everyone else using a pamphlet. That woman, she's using a fan. It's like, at least someone comes prepared.
Yep, absolutely. Rumored to be one of the most hottest races of the season as well. So it's very hot. The tires will be at work. The new surface as well, changing up the game. And we currently look on the circuit, still quite a bit of gravel, but I mean they left it in Formula 3. It seems like they don't want to waste any time, which in this session, okay, maybe fair enough. We are now running on a time limit. These drivers and teams are all losing time together. So fair enough for this session. For Formula 3 practice, they probably should have sweeped it all up.
Oh, unsafe release.
Onto the circuit we go. That is unsafe release from Hauger. Let's see who else can we spot being naughty as well. It seems like it was only Hauger with a little bit of an unsafe release there in the orange MP Motorsport car.
It did seem like someone was trying to overtake in the pit lane as well. It's like, and not at, and not at a safe point.
Not at a safe point. Interesting stuff then. Back onto the circuit we go for 6 minutes and 30 seconds of Formula 2 qualifying to decide who is going to be starting on pole position and who will be getting the 2 points of pole as well. So Zane Maloney, the boy from Barbados, going on the circuit now, trying to get a lap time on the board. That's what he's going to be trying to do. So a reminder, it's Antonelli, then Fittipaldi, Hauger, Hadjar, Aaron, Stanek, Vashor, and Kulin, who have all set proper lap times in this session. Now they're going to try extract the most they can from this qualifying session. As you can see, the dust being kicked up as well further up the road, and that will be a bit of a distraction for all of the drivers, especially if they're all going to get in the slipstream. Now that will be a distraction for all of them, whoever's behind a car.
It will be. Generally in my head.
Well, only 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Hauger, unsafe release noted. We were the ones to spot that first, of course, here at JB Motorsports. So a bit of an unsafe release for Dennis Hauger, and the stewards will be looking at that one as well. Stanek and Hadjar, the championship leader, they had their impeding moments at turn number 1. It was Stanek blocking Hadjar. That's also being investigated at the end of the session. So everything is provisional. Everything can change around, as it always does in Formula 2. Come out of the final corner. Isaac Hadjar makes his way through the Parabolica, where 2 years ago he had a crash. This time around, he is still warming up his tyres, so not fully pushing, not fully attacking, just getting those tyres warmed up for what will be a crucial lap in this Formula 2 qualifying session as well. They're all on an outlap, they're all coming across the line, and let's hope they don't all start backing off, because half the field don't have a lap time.
Yeah, so they better get a lap time very quickly and hope no one else crashes.
Yep, and it's exactly what they will be trying to do as well. Kimi Antonelli is going to be able to take his first pole position in Formula 2. He got close in Melbourne. He provisionally took it till he was denied by the driver who starts in third, the driver who's in third right now, I should say, and the driver who is under investigation as well. He was denied at the end by a very big margin by Formula 2 standards in qualifying. So can Hauger do the exact same and displace Kimi Antonelli? The timing page is going to go absolutely crazy at the end of this Formula 2 qualifying session as well, because Antonelli, Fittipaldi, all of these drivers, they even haven't got a proper lap. They've got a good banker lap in, but they've not got a proper push lap at the limit. So we're still yet to see that by them, and you can see Cushmani's backing off a little bit to allow Maloney through, and Maloney is going to take the position on the circuit. The Maney will be getting a slipstream as it stands, unless Maloney now decides it's his turn to be backing off. 3 minutes and 35 seconds to go on the clock.
So not long for them to actually get that much time in. They probably have about 2, maybe 3 runs left if they are very, very lucky.
Some drivers will be attempting a double push, but it's all about, have you got the tyres? Have you got the tyres remaining for that final push if drivers are going to be delivering it? Richard Rashaw coming out of the final corner. The driver who has been denied 3 victories this year still is yet to win a race, which is unbelievable to say. Crossed the line first in Jeddah. He was disqualified. Then in Monaco was Mechachrome. Then in Hungary, won the sprint race. Was disqualified as well. Due to no fault of his own, only his team getting measurements wrong, as we've already talked about Trident in practice earlier on. Now Rashaw gets on the power, and he looks to attack. This is going to be so crucial as we make our way through the Curva Grande. Then Richard Rashaw is pushing on, and let's see what he is going to be able to do then. In the first sector, he is down by a tenth of a second on Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
Antonelli at least seems to be doing well in F2 today compared to his F1 time today. Him meeting a Parabolica at full speed.
Is doing well indeed. Is everyone going to be able to find a clean way round on this lap? Isaac Hadjar, quickest of all in the first sector so far. And we've also got Hadjar going very nicely in the second sector. Fittipaldi is down by 2/10 on the effort that Hadjar has managed. Rashaw's in the ballpark. Rashaw is in there as well, and he's close. He is close to the lap of Kimi Antonelli. So keep an eye on the Dutch driver, Richard Rashaw, challenging. But it's Isaac Hadjar who is quicker than them all. Zane Maloney is finding the fastest middle sector now. A very interesting battle for pole position here at Monza. We've had delays, we've had red flags, we've had everything in this session. And now it comes down to the final laps. Richard Rashaw gets his foot down for one last time then, and he's going to come across the line. Dirksen goes to the top of the table. Can Richard Rashaw beat it? No. He's in P4. Stanek is right behind his teammate. Hadjar goes to the top by 0.3 of a second. Marty makes it a Campos 1-2. What can Zane Maloney do? Across the line. Aaron goes to second place to join Hadjar on the front row for the moment. Zane Maloney's quickest of all in the middle part of the lap. Hauger goes to third. Zane Maloney across the line. Zane Maloney takes it away by 0.09 of a second. It's the boy from Barbados on pole right now. Can Oliver Behrman put a lap that is close or can beat Zane Maloney across the line? It's good enough for fifth. It was the fastest last sector for him. Andrea Kimi Antonelli has beaten his teammate. Victor Martins is ahead of them both. There's a lockup at turn number 1. Martins is improved to 5th. Cordial goes ahead of O'Sullivan. It's Bertha right now who's in 10th as they all come over the line, and they're doing a double push, so it still could change around this circuit here at Monza. It's Maloney, Hadjar and Aaron the top 3.
Only I give you one guess who is the last person on the grid, barring Bortoletto since he crashed.
Kulan.
Yeah,
Wow.
Kulan.
3.1 seconds. Lovely stuff. Kulan. Right. Anyone else improving then? Hauger. We look to him. Right now, as it stands, Gertha would be on pole in his debut for the sprint race tomorrow.
Ooh,
Hauger is down by
3
3:10, so it seems like the tyres have faded away, as we would have expected. But can anyone find a late improvement here? They haven't done the slipstreaming like we would have expected. They've behaved themselves. They're all still getting a bit of a distant tow from each other. Behrman is down in the first sector as well, but he's improving a bit in the second. So Behrman is trying to bring the challenge. The checkered flag is out at the end of Formula 2 qualifying. Dennis Hauger is about to come out of the final corner. Marty goes to 7th. Fittipaldi goes to 9th. The checkered flag is waving as we come over the line to end qualifying here for Formula 2 at Monza. Hauger stays in P4. Hadjar won't be able to do anything. He's in second. Aaron in third. What can Oliver Behrman do? He was 2 tenths away when we watched him go through the middle part of the lap. Has he been able to find some time in the last sector? Oliver Behrman to the line, and Oliver Behrman stays in P8. There is nothing he can do. It's close behind as we come over
10.
the line. Goethes in 11th. O'Sullivan moves to P12. Cordial gets to 9th. Amory Cordial gets to 9th position, and that is crucial. He is in the top 10 for the reverse grid, so a great effort from Amory Cordial, who's into P9. We'll still wait for them all to come across the line, and it does seem like that is going to be it for qualifying, unless Joshua Dirksen can find a response. He's not improving at all, and it doesn't seem like that anyone else is finding an improvement. Roden can celebrate. Zane Maloney continuing the promise that he showed in practice, and now he's taken the 2 points for pole here in Monza, and he's going to beat Isaac Hadjar, who's in second, Aaron in third, Hauger, Martins, Antonelli, Marty, Behrman, Cordial, and it's Fittipaldi who starts on sprint pole tomorrow alongside Amory Cordial. My god, that is going to be crazy down to turn. Hadjar still with a great effort though to go up to second, but it's Maloney who's got pole.
That's very good for Maloney, to be honest. I mean, I had a feeling at the start of the sessions, like, might get pole. Hadjar earlier.
Second practice session in the Formula 1.
What in the name? We
So
didn't even get it.
That's Sky doing their typical. They want to waffle on about FP. They want to waffle on about a practice session for Formula 1. Okay, well, that's usual. Well, I'll confirm the full results, then I'll get Megan's thoughts, and we will end off. So, Zane Maloney ended up on pole position. He's taken the 2 points. He's beaten Isaac Hadjar, who's in second, Aaron in third, then Hauger, Martins, Antonelli, Marty, Behrman, Cordial, Fittipaldi. That will be the front row tomorrow. Dirksen just outside the top 10, still can change it if there is any penalties. Then Gertha on debut, great performance from him. O'Sullivan, Crawford, Maney, Villagomez, Miata, Correa, Veshaw, Stanek in 20th, Kulan as expected, last of the ones who got a lap in at the end. Bortoletto crashed or put himself in the gravel, beached as well. Disappointment for the man second in the championship. He's given himself a big task for this weekend's races as well. Well, Megan, what's your thoughts then on that session?
Right, my thoughts. I thought it was a very good session, and Maloney's first pole. Woohoo! It is very good, and I think the race is going to be very exciting.
Going to be very exciting as well. We'll have the sprint coming your way after FP3. We'll have the feature race coming your way in between F3 and the Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup. Plenty of action to come. FP2 though coming up next here on JB Motorsports to see whether Red Bull can continue the pace at the front. What can Ferrari do as well? All of those questions will be answered in FP2. So join us in a couple of minutes for the second practice for Formula 1. But for Formula 2, we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.